This is going to be just a video of me rambling. I mean, it's going to add more fuel to the fire. People saying that my brain isn't very big, and to be truthful about it, it's not. I mean, I give myself a headache sometimes when I start trying to read all these congressional bills. Back to 1871, the the Militia Act of 1903, I mean, the 1934 Weapons Act, the 1968 Weapons Act, direct infringements on the Second Amendment, and the rewrite of our Constitution. You didn't know about that one, did you? Little change of word of and for. I mean, if I was a young man and chose this as a profession to follow this, I would probably already be brain dead. I mean, this is just too much. And that's why I fear that the only way to restore the republic is to do a reset. Basically, what the state legislatures would have to do at this point in time to save our country is to take the original Constitution, dust it off, erase all the amendments except for the original ones, get rid of them all, except for those original ones. I'm talking about doing a hard reset, just like you do a computer, wipe it out, okay? We'd have to reset it. The states would require each state legislature, and this is where you have more power at your state level. The states would have to re-elect new representatives. Now, of course, you could choose to keep your current ones. We would have to set up a new United States Capitol in another place because according to the 1871, and I don't hear it discussed, according to that little 10-mile District of Columbia, that's the United States of America as we know it, that's on our money. So China, hey, you guys, by the way, why is China harping on taking our guns away? What dog do they have in that fight? Anyway, hey, China, all that money is owned by this little 10 square kilometer thing. They have no authority over the rest of the country. So China, you want your $4 or $5 trillion? It's all up in that 10-acre patch of land up there. The rest of us don't really have to pay any attention to them. Because if you really look close at our founding documents, what we have now is what they fought against. And because of the big debt that we had after the Civil War, the Rothschilds and that bunch over there, wanted collateral, and they pretty much, to this day, we fund them. Military-industrial complex, everything. So anyway, like I said, this is a rambling video. I'm rambling. And I do not think Washington, the corporate Washington, D.C., or the corporate United States of America will give up without a fight, because those huge banks and investors would lose their entire power base. All the Rothschild, Bank of America, all those big banks that have been controlling the Federal Reserve, Bernanke, all of them would lose power overnight. This is another reason I can't be governor. Because if my people in my state wrote me and were behind it, nobody in my state would have to pay income tax anymore. At least not to that. I would suggest that everybody take out income tax just like they had been and put it into a savings account. So when the right government gets into office, they will have funds to do business. There's going to have to be taxes. I mean, I don't think it'd have to be an income tax really, though, but I would put the money aside. I wouldn't spend it. Just call it uh, going to the victor fund, or take what you're spending in income tax now and put it into a thing. Because technically, the way I'm reading this document, the state the state of Tennessee collects the federal fuel taxes, and we collect the state taxes, and then we cut a check to the federal government. But if it's the corporate government, technically we don't owe them squat. Tennessee could take all of that money and fix our roads ourselves. We pay in more than we get back anyway, so why not just fix it ourselves? But this would take more research, and Tennessee couldn't do it by itself. It would have to have the consensus of other states. At least, I'm going to go overboard here and say at least 60% of the states. It wouldn't be 25-25 split. It would be more like 30. If we could get 30 of the states to get on board with restoring the republic, we could do it. And, in essence, we would be debt-free. We would be starting out from scratch. We just let the corporate United States bankrupt. Let them go. Yeah, it'll be a loss. There's a lot of history up there in D.C., but that 10-acre parcel, not 10-acre, 10 square mile parcel of land could be split up and auctioned off to the debtors. So of course, the people that had dogs in the fight here would get first pick. China, sorry, you took the word of a little 10-mile square of land. They're not really the people. The people of this country are the real government. And you've been taking things from a corporation that doesn't really have that much power unless we give it to them. I don't give it to them. I said, no, this is not right. And this is where we have the problem, because there are enough zombies out there right now that are programmed by the big six. Those are the ones that control the media. That there would be a war. There are soldiers over there that have no concept. Lieutenants, officers, they have no concept of what's been done in history to undermine our country. So it gives me a headache. Y'all read it for yourselves. You get your own headache. It's the evidence is all out there. Go to the Library of Congress. It's all they document. They're good at documenting their own. Corruption. They're real good about that. So what they're doing is up there. They're drowning in their own poo-poo. They're in a cesspool up there, and it's getting deeper and deeper. And they're trying, to flush it, and they want to take all of us down with them. Well, you know what? Anyway, I've had people, say on a video where I said I was going to run for governor, I'm putting my name on the ballot. I had people say, oh, I'd vote for you. I'd vote for you. You know what? If you want to help, take that video and send it to the comedy channel, Colbert and that other guy on the comedy channel that does the news. Make sure they get, everybody email them that video where I said I was running for governor. And send a second email to NBC, ABC, send it to all of them. I could send it to them and they'd ignore it. But if they start getting that video from hundreds of people, even thousands of people, they're gonna start looking at me, and then somebody's gonna shove a camera in my face, and then I'm gonna ramble on national television. And let's see how much of that they put on television when I start bringing up these acts of 1871. And I said, man, this is disturbing. This is really disturbing what they did back then. And even led up to the gold confiscation in 1933. How did they get away with that? It had to be because the people were not educated. All they had was in the media and they believed whatever that was printed in a few big newspapers. So the confiscation of gold should have never happened. That was a real downfall right there. Uh, Actually, the federal government shouldn't be able to control anything that we own. If I can own something that doesn't hurt my neighbor, it's none of their business. If I have this mug full of C4 and I want to go blast rocks with it, so what? You know, I've got a use for it. I've got use. Believe me. On this farm, and most any farmer, especially in this part of Tennessee, has use for explosives. We got so much rock around here, it's pathetic. We have a definite need for explosives here. And it's not that hard to work with explosives. Explosives are fairly simple, and if you know which ones to handle, they're fairly safe. Most explosives, modern explosives, take an initiator, a blasting cap. That's why I love the movies. They show all these, guy with the C4 vest in it, and on top of each block of C4, it has a blasting cap in it. You ever see that? Watch when they do it. They got the C4 and they got the dynamite, and on top of each stick of dynamite, it's got a blasting cap in it. And they sit in there and mess and try to disarm it by messing with the clock. They're pulling the wires on the clock and looking at all this stuff. Nobody thinks to simply pull out the blasting caps. All you have to do on a bomb like that is pull out the blasting cap. A technologically advanced bomb would not allow you to see all those wires. You know how the lamps turn on and off by touch? You would have, if I was going to build an advanced bomb, it would have touch sensors, mercury switches, thermal switches in it, to test, make sure if they try to freeze it, temperature went down too low, boom. Temperature goes up too high, boom. If it gets shook, boom. If somebody touches it, a resistance switch, boom. That's an advanced bomb. This stuff you see in Hollywood is crap. So, anyway, yeah, just pull the blasting cap out. There's a unique one for you. Oh man, my rambling's going on and on and on. So, but I mean, you can check any of this stuff I say. I mean, all this stuff is basic knowledge you can get in the library. Library of Congress, like I said, really good for looking up old laws. And 1871. Here's some key dates for you to look up laws that were passed in 1870, 1871. 1933, 1903, wait a minute, 1903, 1933, 1934, 1968, 1994, that's the first assault weapon ban, didn't work. Look up those are some key dates where some pretty significant right stuff went under the table. Now, people say that I'm conservative. I want to blow that away right now. Because there's a lot of conservatives that believe we're too easy on criminals. And they will trample all over the Fourth and Fifth Amendments to do it. For instance, mandatory drug testing. You can't mandate somebody testify against themselves. When you force somebody to give you a bodily fluid, and the result of them giving you that sample will result in criminal charges, it's unconstitutional. If the result of what you take from them, or you forcibly take from somebody, will result in criminal or charges or any kind of civil charges, it's unconstitutional. Period. It's simple. It's black and white. You got to be safe in your house from unlawful search and seizures. And these judges that just sign off on anything, they're not doing their job. Nobody said the police officer's job was going to be easy. It's called a job because it's hard. I mean, they choose to be police officers because they think it's going to be easy. Oh, we get to ride around in police cars and turn our little lights on and arrest people and beat up on the bad guys. But when they get in there, wind up finding out, I forgot you had to work your brain, didn't you? The reason that the criminals have edge, and they should have the edge. I want y'all to gather in your seats for this. You holding on? It is better for 100 guilty men to escape the gallows than have one innocent man have his head chopped off. It is better for 1,000 pot smokers to go free before you put one pot smoker in jail. That is why law enforcement is hard. It's meant to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. So you want to pass laws to make the policeman's job easier? Yeah, it's good in theory, but not in this country. Not in this country. Your job, you chose it, it's hard. And you know what really irks me is Biden got into this one. Well, the police officers have this dangerous job. I thought I heard thunder. You know what? There are many more times truck drivers out there. And these people are essential to life in this country. They have a dirty job. And they have the government sticking their nose in the job all the time, with little or no effect on safety. For instance, the way I used to drive suited me. I would, load and unload during the daytime, and usually, here's how it would go. First thing in the morning, back up to the dock, you unload. Then you pull away from the dock and go outside and you wait for your next load. Usually took an hour or two. So what I'd do is I'd call in and then I'd go to sleep. Take a couple hours nap. Because I'd rode all night. I was tired. I'd wake up and I'd get the thing. They'd say, well, you're going to pick up your next load at so-and-so. Well, I'd drive over there, back up. They'd load me and I'd pull out and see, well, I still got about 5-6 hours till after the rush hour. And I'd go to sleep. I'd sleep till about 6:30 at night and drive all night long. And that suited me. That was fine. I still got my 8 hours sleep, although it was broken up. Can't do that anymore. Now you have to drive tired. And you can't sleep in between while you're waiting on loads and stuff like that. Dumbest laws in the book. Truck driving is not an 9 to 5 job. All right, so what else do I want to cover in this rambling session? I'm going to make this a good, boring, long, rambling session so everybody can be bored. There's just tons of stuff. Man, if you really get into looking at laws, pick up your state's criminal code if you really want to get a headache. Oh, man, it's so complex that even the attorneys and the judge can't handle that. They don't know. That's why I say probably the best hope for this country to restore the republic is to do a reset. Just hit the reset button, the easy button. Well, we'll hit reset. Just bang it, reset everything, and start over again.